Hi friends, it's Meredith, and today we are going to be talking about the 5 traits that I have compiled that you should look for in an ideal spouse. So let's get into it. I'm going to precurse this by saying that I think there are some basic, generic rules about what makes someone in general just a good quality person. 1, this person needs to respect you, obviously. 2, be a kind, genuinely good person on their own, before they meet you. And then 3, I think that you do need to share at least the majority of the same values, morals, and religious, if not religious background, ideas of religion moving forward for your relationship, your marriage, and then how you would raise your kids, etc., etc. For many reasons, if you want a whole video on those things, I can do that. Just comment below. I do this a lot. Maybe that's my thing. Yeah, so if you want more of that, just let me know in the comments below and I will go more in depth in those topics. Getting into mine. Number 1. This person is clear and committed to you from the beginning. So, when I first started talking to my now fiance, he treated me like I had never been treated before. He never did that thing where he would go a few days without texting me to see how much I cared, or never played a game. Never played a game with me. Was always really clear from the moment that we started talking that he would be interested in pursuing a relationship with me. And then a few months in, after we had become official after dating for about 6 months, then he, spoke to me about, I'm not there yet, but I don't want to continue a relationship if I think that marriage is off the table, so let's talk about the potential of that, and then was forward with that. And I never ever in our entire 4 years of being together have questioned whether he wanted to be with me or what his intentions were or if I was good enough or whatever. He has always just been clear and made me feel like the coolest person ever, and you all deserve to feel like that, and I just want you to know that it is out there, it does exist, you do deserve it, and don't stop till you find it. Number 2, I wrote them down today, so I'm not second guessing, I wrote them down on my laptop. He makes you a better person. When I'm with Nick, he makes me kinder to others, he makes me more patient with others and myself, he makes me feel motivated to do things and reach my goals, and he encourages me and everything. And Nick also leads me closer to Christ. And it doesn't necessarily have to be in the way that you're thinking, because with Nick and I, when we first started dating, I was actually way more into the faith stuff than he was. And it actually took me taking upon myself to be the leader in the religion sector and kind of not pull him along, but guide him. That actually is what it took to take me to the next level of my faith, that I think if I had someone who was just, not stasis, but just kind of equal with me, then we would have just stayed there and neither one of us would have lifted each other up. And I think maybe if I had someone who was more into it than I would have kind of just let them handle it and not taken it upon myself to really delve in deep and be that example of Christ. So it doesn't necessarily come in the way you think it does, but this person should make you a better person and lead you closer to God. Number 3, I think this should be someone that you feel comfortable with. I have never, with anyone else in my life, felt the capability of being 100% myself in the way that I am with Nick. Not, I'm with my mom a lot, but she doesn't see the sides of me that I am around my friends that are more just silly and goofy. And then my friends don't really see the sides of me that are more mature and intellectual, and I really like discussing politics and numbers. I love math and talking about stock market and all that kind of stuff, and ending world hunger and the math calculations of how we would do that and that kind of thing. I'm not really like that with my friends as much. And then Nick is just this perfect combination where I feel like I can be all of those things, and I've never had to try to be that. I never got to an extent that I felt okay, I'm going to open this part of myself up to him now. It was just always there. It was always like that with him. And then it also just needs to be someone that you're comfortable discussing the hard things with. You're gonna need to talk about uncomfortable stuff like sex And I remember the first time that Nick and I did, and he actually made me, that I was kind of like, I don't know about it. He's like, well, like, guess what, we're talking about it, because we need to set boundaries, decide what we're doing now versus later versus married versus whatever, and like, I need to know where you stand before we get into anything. You just have to be able to do that, you know, and have someone who's willing to talk about that and not just brush it off. Number 4, the person's life path needs to line up with your life path. So like, God has called me to travel a lot and move to a lot of different places for my job. And so I needed someone who had the capability and the desire to do that. Our idea of what a marriage and a life looks like is the same. It makes sense together. He'll move around with me. He has that flexibility in his job as well. And he wants that too. So if you find someone who that just lines up perfectly with, then I think that's how you can like be fully yourself and fully what God planned you to be in your life and him to be in his life. So yeah, I recommend looking for that. And then number 5, I think you need to be with someone who is willing to put in the work, someone who even before marriage and before problems come, you think is willing to go to a Christian counselor down the road, someone who's willing to, like Nick and I have already read multiple Christian relationship books, and we're just constantly working on being better people, being a better couple, finding out how we can serve Christ together and separately, and just always growing and moving forward. Because without that, you're just kind of setting yourself up for failure, right? Because I think all marriages, all relationships have disagreements. They have bumps in the road. They have flaws. That's just the fact of the matter. We're human. It's going to happen. And so at the end of the day, you really just need to think about what you're willing to deal with for the rest of your life and what you're not. And the one thing that I would say from my experience that I wish someone told me like before I met Nick was that perfect ideal person is out there. And you can have that standard for yourself. I hope this helps for those of you looking for someone to potentially start dating. And I hope it's helpful for those of you who are dating someone or engaged like me to just really like confirm that that is the right person for you. So let me know in the comments below if you have any additional ideas of what you absolutely need in a spouse or a boyfriend or a girlfriend or whatever. And like this video and subscribe. Peace out and God bless.